I guess like you wouldn't have experienced that because like that's I think is something that only someone from a younger dancer can feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've always been there. You've been there from the start.
Yeah,
So it's
so,
yeah.
Within context of our time frame.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, because the reason why I just realised is recently with some other people I know in context of trying to be like organised together.
Uh-huh.
And without it being said that there isn't a hierarchy here, it's almost like it's being called out now in a good way.
Mm.
You know, to be more progressive, like that. Right, someone needs to establish like the rules,
Yeah.
so to speak, or the guidelines.
Yeah.
Framework, like
Important.
yeah, it's like cool, you know, like so amongst us, Sam, we need you to, you know, like because you're the most experienced here, to make those calls for our locking. You know, like when you see it, can you please tell us? You know,
Like for example, like what's a rule that I could call out?
I don't know, like whatever hierarchical rule is based on the hierarchy that you're the most experienced.
I'm not. But yeah.
Yeah.
I wish. That would be great. But I'm not.
Just as an example, if all of a sudden you were in Melbourne, and
Yeah.
we were all talking together about like, alright, this is how we're going to move forward.
Yeah.
It's interesting that just recent, like last week, it's like, oh man, you know, like yeah, it wasn't really, you weren't there to organise. This wasn't your trip that you organised and brought people together, but you could have made these calls at this certain last trip that you went to.
Okay.
You know, like so maybe for this next thing, that you feel more comfortable to make the call because you're the most experienced.
Okay.
You know, and then my whole stance is like, yeah, but you know, I'm kind of not here to lead this. I'm not here like if you ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that thing I said at the start of our session earlier on, like
Yeah.
that Chinese saying whatever it is of
Letting things happen.
letting things happen.
Yeah.
You know, like so. Unfortunately, that poor plant is just gonna have to wither away. It's just not strong enough for this other thing.
I see.
I could help it to survive. Some bad examples. Don't want it to relate to a person.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Oh, that's rough.
Right,
Yeah.
it's rough.
Yeah.
But it's also like I've been trying to tell people certain things, and I think that's probably why that hierarchy doesn't exist for some of us.
Why doesn't it? Like, I feel like if Jack said something, everyone would be like, yep.
Yeah.
He said it.
Yeah.
You heard it from the Bible himself, Jack. Jack is the walking Bible, right? Why don't you have that?
I don't know, man. It could be a Melbourne cultural thing. It might be possible that here in Melbourne, the respect to authority is not the same as it is. You know, because maybe it's like anti-authoritarian.
I see.
You know, like, yeah, I know
Wow.
you're old school, we're aware of that, but fuck you, we're doing our own thing.
I
I
see.
don't know. 'Cause,
Damn.
I don't know, we use it a lot when describing ourselves, and I'll speak for people that I know. I can't speak for the whole of Melbourne and the whole of Victoria, but we have a culture here of like staying in your own lane kind of thing.
Oh, I feel like that's... Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure,
I don't think that doesn't exist in Sydney.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure that this kind of thing is universal.
Yeah.
But don't make a point of it here. Like if you were going to say if you were a visitor from Sydney, for example, I used to be a river driver.
Okay.
And then a Perth cat was my passenger.
Yep.
He noticed the music I was playing.
Yeah.
Next minute he tells me he's from Perth, that's how I knew he was from Perth. And then he asked if he knew this, and that. And he started opening up and saying like that's why I moved to Melbourne because not much is happening in Perth.
Yep.
But what I realised about Melbourne is Melbourne's very much like a cliquey kind of city. Like
wow.
Pretty much like you're not welcome here.
Yeah.
You know, like
wow, I've always heard that about Sydney, not Melbourne. Maybe it's more pronounced. Maybe Perth is less cliquey, and then Melbourne, like on a hierarchy of clickiness. It'd be like Sydney max clickiness, Melbourne mid-tier clickiness, Perth C-tier clickiness. But from a Sydney perspective, I'm surprised I hear that about Melbourne, because I feel like Melbourne people, like Sydney people, are so clicky and so not open and unfriendly.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No,
Yeah.
no, you weren't interrupting at all, you know? Like, I think this is the thing, yeah. It's just like, when I heard that back in 2018, I was
Mhm.
delivering then, I was like, yeah, man, and I just pretty much just agreed with it. It's like, yeah, I've heard that. Like, that's our culture here.
Yeah.
And the only like logic I could think of was because of how the geographics of this state is.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
it's like you've got your city in the center, and then you have to cross either way or cut across like other directions in a roundabout way
Okay.
to get to the different regions.
Yeah.
You know? So quite naturally, by geographic location,
They all build like their way of thinking.
yeah,
I see.
because of the different cultural groups there, ethnic groups there, whatever the circumstances, blue collar, white collar.
Wow.
neighborhoods.
I see.
Yeah. Whereas I mean Sydney, it's that too.
Yeah.
But when we look at the map of New South Wales, you've got East Sydney here, you know, and then
Mhm.
you've got Sydney City, and then it's all west.
West.
However many train
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah, west till Perth.
Perth, all the way to
Yeah.
Perth, you know? So, yeah, I can't remember why I brought that shit up, but it was like, yeah, clicky, you know? It's
Mhm.
very clicky here, and this is probably why there isn't this like hierarchy of like why people just don't listen to you, because
Okay, wait. As a counter argument,
yeah,
I feel like Melbourne community is the most so inclusive, and like it feels like family. Not personally, but like when I watch you guys are all so connected and in the loop. Yeah, like more so than Sydney. I think our population size, like our dance size, is a bit bigger, community wise. So it's just logistically too difficult for everyone to know each other. But even in general, I feel like most people in Sydney know each other. But I feel like in Melbourne, everyone definitely knows each other.
right,
Yeah, so it's interesting. There's like this sense of community and togetherness that's just unparalleled in Melbourne. I think that might be a part of like why the hierarchy doesn't exist here, because you guys just like hanging out with each other.
Well, you know what? I think I need to shout out like those guys who have been really proactive for the Melbourne dance community. I'll just
Yeah.
speak for the dance community.
I would love to hear how that happened, how that came to be.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're identifying it for this. Yeah, like it's like for this conversation is that just from this point going backwards
Mm-hmm.
during COVID, right back to perhaps, let me think now, what year? Maybe 2015, maybe 2016, 2017. All the groups proactive then, either just starting or really getting onto their feet
Yeah.
and taking it forward, right? Those groups are the reason why Melbourne is so tight,
I see.
right? And
Could you name the groups? I'm curious.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna name the groups now, and apologies for anyone listening to this if I don't mention your name or your group. Yeah,
Means he
but-
hates you.
Yeah.
You guys didn't make the Lamrock cut to be in the Cool Kids Club.
Put words in my mouth. That's because I just forgot. Yeah, don't listen to him, but it's really funny too. It's this. It's jam on toast.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Everyone loves them.
Yeah.
Sydney loves them.
Yeah, man. It's jam on toast for sure. 100%. Then you have their connections with Burn City Crump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Burn City Crump is really important in that, and Burn City Whack.
Yeah, I don't know much about the Crumpers, but the Whackers see them all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you have a few satellite kind of groups operating around that, like Steezy Walrus, who run like the breaking events and training sessions
Mm-hmm.
and chat groups on Facebook, Messenger,
Nice.
and yeah, there's like various offshoots of those groups or people from that group get a little bit more specialized, you know,
Yeah.
like house guys, or, you know, hip hop freestyle guys.
Yeah.
You know, so that's for me when I kind of witnessed like not a changing of hands, so to speak, but there was a transitionary period there.
I see.
You know,
So
like
from what to what?
from a more hierarchical.
Oh, so it was actually hierarchical before, and now it's this
and-
awesome community.
and more cliquey and more
I see.
like yo, that shit's around, fuck with you guys.
Yeah, yeah, I
That
see.
shit's corny, or those dudes are too alpha, they're too long.
Yeah.
Because that was the old culture in Melbourne.
I see.
You know, where, you know, you would get called the F word if you were a guy that danced, if you wore purple. You know,
I
it's
see.
Very old,
Wow.
90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
Just really close-minded and backward, you know. I guess I'm glad that we kind of challenged that a bit, you know. We had gay friends, we had, you know, like, it was more multicultural.
Yeah.
But the remnants of like what would have established a hierarchy of that time,
Mm.
in that iteration, you know, it was just the result of the environment at the time.
I see. Yeah, like don't see that at all anymore.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Thank God, man.
Yeah.
It's dark times.
Yeah. I'm very lucky to not yeah.
Yeah.
I don't experience that. I have not experienced that at all.
Well, I got a stasho stuck in my my So, from this recent trip, like, what's this mean for you moving forward?
That okay.
How long has it been since you watched last year?
Last year city sessions. But I didn't stay for too long, I think. That was just like 2 days. Moving forward from here, I don't. That's such a vague question. I guess like in terms of dancing, because
It's deliberately vague.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, this was a dance trip, so everything I'm thinking about is going to be in terms of dancing and obviously like my own improvement, which is like I love improving dancing. Just feels good. That's why I dance. I think the main thing I realized was personally, my locking sucks. In terms of no, like
suck.
I just don't think I've given the style enough respect that it deserves, because, and I don't think that's really my fault. We've talked about it before the podcast, but I just think I'm a Sydney born and raised dancer, and I don't have like the attachment to the American history or the people. I didn't watch the shows. I didn't watch the Soul Train. I didn't really listen to the music growing up. I didn't care about who made the music. I didn't care about who made the dance. I just took classes from a Sydney studio and enjoyed doing that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm completely on terms of that now. But like in this last locking battle, like yesterday or 2 days ago, like when was the last locking battle we had in Australia? Like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago.
Where was it? In Sydney.
I think it was Anna's function. If you remember Anna.
Anna. Rings a bell, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she was here for 2 years and she's like, I think she's CEO Masato's student or CEO student. CEO from Japan, who's from Road Dogs, who's won Just Debut Tokyo like a million times. So she came down and Anna has like been finalist for Just Debut Tokyo like a million times as well. The finalist. They lose against their teachers. Yeah, that Anna's insane. I think
Do you
she's
think that's hierarchical? Like
no. CEO and Masato are so good.
True.
Yeah, they're just yeah. I think Anna kind of do not actually like they're close, but I don't think they have ever beaten them before. Yeah.
I'd love to see that scale tip over.
I would love to.
Love to see that.
But also at the same time, Sydney and Masato are just beasts. They're parents now and they're still owning it. Like that's just crazy. Like top anyway. So that was the last locking battle. Yeah, I don't think I did too well then as well. But I guess the point I was trying to make is there's no locking battles in Australia. And as a person that enjoys competing, I care about results and doing well. And that generally means doing well in...
Yeah, that's alright.
that generally means doing well in all-star battles because that's all we have here. And I think my dance is really adapted to do well in all-star competitions.
Yes.
And I've been seeing results in terms of like getting better at all-stars. But like in 2 days ago in Funk Station, like I actually kind of struggled dancing to funky music, like funk music, because when I get a funk song at an event, it's the one funk song I'm going to get for the next 6 months. So I don't need to consistently dance to funk music all the time. I just need to have like one round worth of content.
Right.
Yeah, and that's already fresh enough.
Yeah.
Whereas like in funk, it's only funk music because it's a locking battle. And I was realizing my range and my technique and like the feelings I have aren't, like I can't go more than like 2 or 3 rounds without feeling like I'm already like gassed out. Yeah. Because I'm such an all-star dancer, I'm so used to just getting like popping music and then disco and then house and then crump or some amalgamated pop song, right? And I'm just adapting to that. So I have a bigger range of music in terms of my dancing, but when it comes to locking itself, I'm actually not very good. That's what I mean by like I kind of suck at the style because I practice all of the other stuff. And I felt that at the event. I felt that really hard at the event. And then taking your workshop and Kiki's workshop, like you guys taught such basic fundamental stuff. Like you taught original combos from the original lockers. And I'm like, I never break that stuff down, and those people made the style. And same with Kiki, she taught like the basics, and I'm like, I never really thought about the basics on the level that Kiki did, and I'm supposed to be repping the style, and I think that's been really humbling for one, and also really exciting. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to get better at locking after, like that's exactly what the event was trying to do, right? Like spread the love of locking, and it definitely worked for me. Yeah. Anyway, that's where we're going. I want to get good at locking. Yeah.
Dope.
But also at the same time, I want to still do well at all styles because I'm a Sydney dancer, like Australia. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd like to make a comment like that. Like it's like social commentary in itself. Also, there's a need there was some sort of need from whenever All Stars started popping up on our radio. When you were younger, was there already All Star battles?
I think there were less all-star battles back in those days.
A lot less.
Yeah, it was all styled battles. Like there were functions every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like 1v1 popping, 1v1 locking, all of that happened all the time.
All the time.
I remember.
But like as in a all-style category, no.
No, not as much. But now it's pretty much only all-style.
Right.
The only thing that hasn't is breaking. Breaking's been consistently its own thing.
Right.
I guess like popping has stayed consistent with having their styled battles, but locking just peaced out and just, that meme where the guy goes peace and it just yeah that's what happened to locking. Yeah,
Locking vanished for a bit. It did.
Yeah,
because that's it. That's that bring everyone together. And unfortunately, some things piecing out. Breaking was kind of that here. Breaking pieced out because a lot of maybe the people participating in breaking in Melbourne just wasn't feeling the all-stars. That's the only assumption in this context I could say why there's not enough B-boys at our all-star events.
well I feel like that's not. Well, what about breakers at breaking events? Is that going well in Melbourne?
Hardly any breaking events.
That's weird. Wait, why?
Yeah, no, I asked myself this question and I only assume and try to make up reasons for why that is. And I feel a bit guilty too, because I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
an B-boy.
Yeah.
But it's complex. It's complex. But considering that there's been international, universally, all these all-stars for it's helped lots of people. If you need to answer it.
Let me
answer
just text my friend.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Oh, but let me, I can pause this for a second. I guess what I was saying was like, as an older person, and feel free to go tangential with this, and we can try to bring it back just to the tangent gods. Is that I guess we get tired, so I kind of just like I'm happy to like let this breaking side go. Because for me personally, in my dance, I'd already done a 10-15 year tenure in breaking,
Jesus.
popping, locking. I still hadn't been able to explore crumb properly, whacking. I still haven't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I still do want to, you know. But it was the music was changing in 2014. SoundCloud was becoming a prominent source for
Yep.
new sounds. It made sense to try and mix stuff because what is that genre? It's like it's housey, but then it goes into like a halftime beat, and then it's kind of electronic-y, but then it kind of you can pop to this. It's like, well, I could do everything to this.
I see.
You know, and then that kind of then went in multiple directions. The Melbourne party scene started growing. There was now more people from uni groups or had gone and becoming young adults, like working in the workforce.
Yeah.
And they were at these parties now. And then they were then out taking over and running their own events, their own groups, their own sessions. Kind of made sense since 2014.
That breaking has disappeared in like.
Yeah, but also why all styles became more prominent.
I see.
You know, so it would make sense that it was almost like the introduction for everyone. In hindsight, you know, to be like, oh, that's locking, that's popping, that's breaking, that's hip hop, that's house. Who's this guy? Who's that guy? Who's that older cat? Who's this younger person? And there was a familiarity. It was like a prolonged introduction of meeting new people.
Yep.
Right around the country.
Yeah.
So now where people have become established in those networks, in groups. I'm bringing all of this back
to why breaking's dying, basically, in Melbourne.
I'm actually bringing this all to now to
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
I think I'm still in workshop mode.
No, go for it.
But it's interesting, like that. Yeah, it's quite natural. It makes sense. You're in your environment, in my environment. I think collectively, our environment, we had to adapt and adjust to all stuff.
Yeah.
And that's given us a broader, more mature understanding of our neighbours, our cousins in the street dance culture.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's run in cycle. It's not going to end, but it's run in cycle where now that COVID happens to break, now that locking is back.
I hope so.
Funk Station is back. I mean, Funk Station has sort of put the spotlight on locking.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like the mind going, oh yeah, you know, I need to get back to my locking.
Yeah. I mean, like, I never left it, but it's just like the understanding is changed. Yeah. But agreed.
So maybe this is to continue on that, man. It's like this is why I feel like there's a renaissance happening. Because, for example, with my experience with the 4OK boys, they hit me up. I kind of like hung up the boots. Like, just generally, it's like, I don't really want to be marketing myself on a phone app and dancing for a phone app.
Yeah. Did they do TikTok dances?
They were TikTok dancers too.
Oh, why did you think I didn't know that?
Yeah, you know, like I kind of before COVID, I kind of made a decision on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day of 2019.
Yeah.
That I was going to try and do the content, become a content creator. Because I was kind of doing it naturally anyway. And then COVID hit, and I was just like, I got to take a step back from this. This is too much.
Yeah.
I need to look after myself in lockdown.
Yep. Yeah.
And then that was it. And then we were out of lockdown, or in and out of lockdown in 2020. Next minute, I'm getting hit by Phil. I'm getting hit up by Gino, who happened to be working at my new workplace.
Wow.
He was already a 2-year veteran at Woolies by that stage. You know?
Woolies veteran.
Woolies veteran. You know?
Yeah.
This is a new factory. You know?
Yeah.
A new warehouse. And then came Noi, and through their connections, bro, it was bizarre. It was like so coincidental. One could call it destiny, you know? And that's it. Like, then all of a sudden I felt like I was brought back into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Of like being relevant again. You know? And there was a point where I'm bringing this up, but it's kind of just escaping.
How did that feel for you?
Good. It was good. Oh, we were talking about the Renaissance.
Yeah.
Without making this thing about myself, right? It's just kind of like, oh, what? Like, you want to know about, like, an older style? Like, it just seemed so contrasting from what had just happened in the past prior, just, like from 2015, 2016 onwards,
Yeah.
in 2021, this new group, 4OK, which now
Yeah.
I'm a part of. And then subsequently in my travels recently and other people I'm talking to, a younger generation is looking inward and wants to know more about what happened in their respective cities and who's who and such.
Yeah.
Old styles that have just been had fallen out of the wayside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And even older people my age still trying to be current, or we're still current, yeah.
Mm.
It's like that's the old style. No one's doing that shit
Mm.
anymore. Forget about that stuff. This is the new stuff. So we all kind of became part of the next generation like that.
Yeah.
A good example is trap music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the dances of trap music.
Yeah.
The various offshoots of that,
Mm-hmm.
edits and remixes of that.
Yep.
But that's kind of fizzled too. It's still there, but as like a dominant part of the dance culture that I was
I
around.
see.
Yeah, now and then like
It was
I
a
said,
big thing back
it was
then.
huge, yeah.
Like dubstep as well.
Right? Yeah. It's
That's like dead.
Yeah, that's dead. That's a good example of like that kind of trend repeating itself.
I
When
see.
dubstep came, it was like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, it's like Skrillex.
Right?
Like Bangarang.
Bang.
Yeah, oh my god.
And that shit popped off, and everyone was popping to that stuff. And
Yeah.
animation style was going hard.
Oh yeah, those videos on YouTube. Yeah,
You know?
that was like hundreds of millions of views.
Right?
Dancing to like Skrillex music.
Skrillex music.
Yeah.
They were proud dubstep
Dances.
dancers.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just disappeared, and then came that era after 2010, 11, 12.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is my childhood.
Tell us about that, bro. Tell us like what it was like starting in that era.
Well, like starting dance in 2014.
Yeah, and then but being aware of things like in your childhood, step and things like that.
Oh, that's hard. I've never thought about this. I don't even know where to start.
All good.
What's it like dancing in 2014 as a kid?
Yeah.
Well, like from a more like macro, like cultural perspective.
Yeah, or just whatever in general. Because that
I remember that there was, yeah, actually, even though we talked about Sydney being like this training culture of like drilling hard, I feel like back then, for me, it wasn't that yet. I think people cared about partying and clubbing back then.
True.
And being free and dances for fun, and it's an outlet for hard things in life, and you have a hard day at whatever you did that day at work, and then you go to the club or you go to the studio, you just jam out and have fun. Yeah, I remember that growing up, and I remember that because everyone talked about how great clubbing was, and I was like a kid, a 14, 15-year-old kid, like that. I just was so confused because I can only start doing that 4 years down the line. So that's like way too far down a time horizon for me to even think about or even like image. So I remember that. That's what it was like. I remember people talking about the music and feeling and character and having a good time, and I was just really confused because I was taking classes and I was having a great time taking classes. And then I was kind of feeling like I wasn't a real dancer because I'm a filthy studio, not filthy, but I was a studio dancer and the real dancers were at the clubs. Yeah, and I was a teenager, I was always very confused.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's like the main thing I kind of remember, but also just having heaps of fun battling as a kid and taking classes and, like being at the studio and having a good time with people. Yeah, that was really fun. Yeah. It was fun being a kid at the scene. Everyone liked you. Everyone nurtures you. And I guess like people thought I had a lot of potential and they gave me a lot of love. Yeah. I guess that's what it wasn't really like a music, cultural, macro trend thing, but that's just the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like in the meta now of that. What's the best way to put it? In relation to like the alternative to dancing in a studio, yeah. Like be it in like for breaking, yeah, it was that for us. Like dudes used to preach hard, like when it was still a bit more like just two main genders, you know, male, female. Like b-boys need to learn how to dance in the club because they need to learn how to dance with girls.
Oh yeah, people always talked about that. Gotta dance with girls. Gotta dance with girls. Gotta dance with girls. And I feel like I don't hear that anymore.
Right.
That's like it doesn't exist unless only like OGs say that.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they're pretty shameless about it, which is really good.
Yeah.
I like how they're like, we went to the clubs to try to get girls. Yeah, that's no one says that anymore nowadays because that's just seen as creepy.
Exactly. Yeah. And that culture is almost non-existent for a younger generation.
Yeah.
Where you can go. I'd like to assume. Part of me hopes that there's still places where you can go, albeit in a different way, go to a social function, not necessarily a club, you know, like wherever people are dancing, and then like you can dance with a girl, you know, not a battle with a girl or go rounds with a girl kind of like opposite sex or someone you're attracted to is probably the key. Is the key.
It's much more acceptable to battle someone than to dance with someone you're attracted to nowadays.
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
It's just because it's like the concept of social dancing is to dance with other people, and yes, in a side or in a battle, you are dancing with someone, but it's like an energy directed at you. You know, hey, attractive person, and then hey, attractive person back, It's just kind of, it's a bit weird, but like, I mean, it's a new era, so it's like whatever's going on. It's like that used to be for like a very breaking thing. I think the point I'm trying to get at is, God, I'm a bit frazzled from the crazy 4 days of work. Is like, I guess, what am I trying to say, man? What am I trying to say here? I've legit hit a brick wall, man.
I guess we were just talking about how dance was, people were preaching about real dancing was dancing with the other gender and learning how to get with people. And now it's not like that anymore, and the culture has evolved into something different, and battling is now more acceptable than dancing for social reasons.
Yeah, you know, for fear of coming across as undesirable, you know, like a creep or something you know, because it's very volatile at the moment.
Yes, it is,
but
it's tough.
You know, I guess the overarching thing there, the concept there is, back when you were still a kid, I just wanted to see if there's like parallels here, and then we're going to go back to 2014 as well. 2014 for a second, but it's like for you to feel that way, being told like and being unsure.
I was so anxious for years.
Was it because that it was taught or preached almost universally by the people that were telling you? Pretty much all the time. That was more superior to this inferior way of
100%. Like when I made the filthy joke. Like it was, no one used that word, but definitely people felt that way. At least I felt that way. Obviously I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, but the message is still there.
Because like one big boy came up to me at the after party of that event at Blacktown last month, or 2 months ago now.
Blacktown Block Party, that Kid Tech organised.
Kid Tech organised, an old school big boy came up to me and goes, "Hey bro," and he's like, he's 40s. He's like, "Hey bro, have you gone to a club recently?" I go, "Oh, not really, man." And I already knew kind of what he was going to say.
What, like real dancing, just clubbing dancing, and
or
what?
He goes, I went and I thought it was weird. I just went up to a girl and started grinding. And I got pushed away.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah, right? And I go, "Oh no, bro, you can't do that these days anymore."
Wow.
Like that was
thank God, but
that was a thing. Like it was almost like, there's a movie called Save the Last Dance.
Okay. I don't know that movie.
I can't remember the actress in it. But basically there is a scene where they're all clubbing and then two dancers just kind of see each other and they start grinding. The love interest which is the main character of the movie, she's like, sees her love interest dancing with this chick and gets upset. And then he just like, "Yo, where are you going?" She's like, "Oh, you're clearly not interested in me. You were dancing with that other girl. Who is she anyway?" He's like, "No, we were just dancing. That's what we do."
Yeah.
You know, and that was just how it was in the early 2000s.
I see.
Like, and in real life it was like that too, you know. And I'm not
I
saying,
see. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying that everyone should still be doing that, but I can understand why, yeah, how the times have changed.
Yeah, the times have changed. I mean, there's so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
There's so much to unpack there about like patriarchal like values and masculinity and
Right.
and all that jazz. But anyway,
Right.
times have changed. Yes.
Times have
Yeah.
But then it's also interesting in my come up, just to spread it right up, yeah.
Mm.
Where I was the awkward kid that didn't know how to talk to. I could talk to women, but not in a way of like trying to then get with them, you
Yeah.
know, like or get their number or anything.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to talk.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Likewise.
It felt creepy. You
Yeah.
know? Like don't get me wrong. I eventually like learned. a
Became the
way-
Casanova that you are now.
Casanova. But no, yes, sorry, bro. It's just the thing of where, you know, because I could dance, I was already learning how to dance, so
Yeah.
I'm there in my own pocket doing my thing. And then, like, almost like in a picturesque movie way, like,
Yeah.
as you're looking at me, imagine there was no one there and you're me, you're
Yeah.
dancing, and then all of a sudden, some chick just comes in and goes, and it's on you.
Yeah.
I've had that experience.
Jesus. Yeah.
You know, it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. That must have done wonders for your confidence, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there was a very masculine, patriarchal, like,
Yeah.
way
You
of
got the
acting on
like.
our
You got the
voice,
female
you know?
validation. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly, man. But, yeah.
I think that's quite universal. Yeah. Guy gets like female validation, like not just like validation, but like an obvious desire,
Yeah.
and then your confidence goes woo. Yeah, I think that's quite universal.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
At least, hopefully, like it still is like that nowadays. Yeah,
People want to be seen. People want to be acknowledged.
yeah,
People want to be validated for whatever reason.
yeah,
You know, and I think this is still something that everyone is coming to terms with, especially with how things are panning out in terms of people getting shut down, getting called out,
Yeah.
you know, getting cancelled. It's like
Yeah.
there's clearly deeper reasons as to why all of these things are happening.
yeah.
And there's always the two sides of the coin could be, they're both positive and negative.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
back to the b-boy who at the battle.
Mm,
Yeah, and also like the culture shifting in terms of our dancing. Like,
mm.
was that just back to that story?
Oh, that story.
Yeah.
No, that was pretty much it. Man. That was pretty much it. You know, just to reiterate, like, or just to put a finish, yeah,
Mm.
on, like how it's a different era. Right? I guess if we want to tie in the Renaissance, you know,
Yeah,
there might be, because from what I've heard, at least in like what's it? Not secondhand, like from another person who's involved in the gay club scene, you know, Vogue ballrooms and such. This kind of atmosphere of what clubs used to be like back in the day
yeah. Resurging, re-emerging.
It exists there.
Wow.
Where everyone can just let their hair down, you know, like it's non-judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, it's very inclusive, even to people who don't identify with LGBT.
Mm.
You know, like not identify,
Cool.
but
That's great.
they're not LGBT.
Yeah.
But they've been brought there. by
Wow,
a
that's
friend,
great.
And everyone's just dancing and getting together. You know.
Yeah.
And maybe there is. It sounds like dancing with someone in close proximity, besides COVID, is quite risque these days. You know.
Yeah.
But there,
Bringing it back.
It still happens because you're just dancing. Because clearly the steps from dancing to like hooking up with someone, there's a lot more there.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I find that really interesting. That's still alive within their cultures.
Yeah, good on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the fashion. Plus, you know, just in general, I'm synthesizing this from my observation.
I see. Yeah, I don't know anything about that community, but
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear.
Yeah, man. Silk Sonic, you know, like
Yeah.
the funk, the soul, like the fashion of corduroy, baggies is back.
Yeah.
What is this? Is this a renaissance? You know?
Yeah.
Because people are still trying to go forward with it, take it to the next level.
Uh-huh.
But they're also looking back. Oh, what was it like during your day?
Yeah.
Tell me about this. What do you think about that? So,
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add there. I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, people look back to the originals when they want to bring it to the next level.
yeah.
Yeah, I find myself leaning in that direction as well.
Mm,
Yeah, with my own dancing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, this thing came up as you were talking about 2014.
Yeah.
There's this thing that come across my radar on Twitter through another DJ. Do you use TikTok?
No, not personally. But I know of it,
You know,
and I do like browse Instagram Reels, which is basically the same thing.
pretty much the same
Yeah,
thing.
so I would say yes.
Yeah.
I try my best not to, but it's really hard
Yeah.
not to. It's just every platform's got their version now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's almost like a universal like thing where
Yep.
the formats are similar.
Yep.
Shorts on YouTube.
But yeah. Let's just say yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm not as seasoned, like not every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, me neither. But I've noticed immediately through my reels as well that just re-upload the TikTok. You see the TikTok in Insta, you
Mhm.
know, where there's a voiceover, like an automated computer voiceover.
Yeah, like text to speech.
Yeah, text to
Like,
speech. Yeah.
here are 5 psychological tricks to find out if your crush likes you. 1, he faces his feet towards you.
Right.
Like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to bring up. I saw that, and someone said something along the lines like, DJs think they could play music from 2014 and still, you know, and rock the party,
Yeah, they totally can.
right?
Yeah.
They totally can, right? But
Yeah.
then it made me think. It's like 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
That was so specific, 2014 too.
Yeah, it's like, what was the 2014 music? So I was thinking,
What is it, like Avicii Levels or something, or like Party Rock Anthem or something, or Dynamite from Teo Cruz or something?
say more, because like 2014 to
I don't
me,
know. I don't know if those are the right years, but
Yeah,
Call Me Maybe or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's like it's a really interesting era to be thrown up by
Like Fireflies by that Owl Knights. What's their name? Owl something?
I don't know. See, this is the thing. I don't know any of
I see.
them.
Well, that's like my childhood. Like, I was a gamer, so I wasn't very culturally in, but like those were like the pop-up song, like Replay,
Yeah.
like I from Ayaz.
Yes.
Yeah, that's I think that's everything. Well, not everything, but yeah, that's most of them.
And where did you find those artists? Like, how did you come across?
I have
those?
no idea. They're just
It was
probably just
the
playing,
radio.
yeah, playing on the mall when you're being driven around by your parents. Those being played, and then your friends are listening to them, or like YouTube was a thing and you'd watch them. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you would just know those songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a kid, you would just know. Even me, like a freaking basement dweller.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you dig for music?
No, I was a gamer through and through, like ultimate nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you know, as a gamer, when you were like, were you streaming back then already?
No.
Was streaming a thing back
No.
then?
No.
Did you have music in the background while games were
Nope.
playing?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably just like shopping malls and radios and television, MTV or so. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what MTV is, but yeah.
But you know of it.
Yes,
interestingly.
something along those lines.
Interesting.
But I definitely knew those songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like when my friends would let me listen to their music, those were the songs that they had too. Yeah. As a kid, you don't know where they come from. You don't think that deeply. Yeah.
No.
You just try to fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what makes things so viral. Everyone just tries to fit in.
Mm.
And then they all listen to the same shit.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just one of these things. It's like I'm really like wondering about that era now because of this.
That TikTok.
Yeah, this really big DJ hosting that. It's very specific. 2014.
Yeah.
And so I'm asking everyone right across the board.
What are the
was their
2014 songs?
As soon as you
I don't know.
said you started dancing in 2014.
Yeah, but I did locking. Like that's that whole. I'm not a normal person.
But, you know, let's go there. Let's go there. Like, what music were you listening to for locking
Oh,
at that time? Like, do you?
I don't think I listened to my own music.
That's alright.
That's the thing is, yeah, I just danced at the studio. When after school, I'd go to the studio and I just danced to whatever my teacher was playing, and then in the studio, in the free studio that we practice in, I just listened to that music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't think I ever took control of my. I've never been a person that took control of what music that we practice or train to or listen to.
Mm.
Like, I've always just used my friends' playlists or my friends' songs, or I never dug that hard compared to my music heads.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't think I'm the right person to ask for this.
Yeah.
But
No worries.
yeah, I wish I could offer some perspective. But yeah,
Nah, it's
Yeah.
all good, it's all good. I guess, you know, like, for 2014 to crop up again as a particular date.
yeah,
You know,
especially
and-
after that TikTok.
Especially after that TikTok, and then you mentioning 2014, I'm like, God damn, what's up with these?
Yeah,
Like, there's a weird thing with me.
yeah,
I get pointed in these, like, very similar directions.
yeah. Surely like Bon Jovi was a huge back then. Surely
No.
was that before 2014?
Way before.
Damn.
Yeah. But the fact that you know that too is quite
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. What about like a G6 or something?
Yeah, that's a bit earlier.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's so interesting.
God. Yeah.
So,
I feel like K-pop was starting to get big then too, at least in my circles.
right.
Yeah. I didn't listen to them, but I remember some of my friends getting into K-pop.
Mm,
A lot of the girls my age went to K-pop then too,
yeah.
but not in primary school. I was like in year 9 or year 10. I think that's when people started to like really froth over the hot girls and the hot guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? That just unlocked the memory. I remember when there was the split, actually prior to the split of dance school and crossover. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
Jay-
before my time.
That
Yeah.
was just before your time.
Yeah.
Jay was already, while working for dance school, Jay is the guy who owns
Yep.
crossover. Yeah. Jay was already doing pieces that were like
The K-pop.
K-pop,
Yeah.
J-pop. Yeah. And I didn't. Is he still involved in?
Yeah, he teaches K-pop classes like probably taught one today or something.
No
He is
shit.
like living and breathing that stuff.
And have you had an interaction with the K-pop
Dancer.
dancers?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a few friends who do K-pop dancing.
No, I've never experienced the K-pop like event here.
I
I'm
see.
aware of it through various, just in random.
Yeah,
events.
I don't think there's really like events. There's like sometimes competitions, but it's mostly like people who pop up who want to make videos and with friends,
Interesting.
and that's the thing. And then sometimes there's a competition, but they're not very. It's not a community. Like there's, not a community is a pretty strong way of saying it, but generally the crews just stick together and they
Right.
just perform their piece and then don't mingle that much.
Right.
Yeah, because they're at least in Sydney, I just think that a lot of them are shy and they don't like try to talk to each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just within K-pop.
Yeah, I guess I know because I've been teaching for a new studio recently that popped up in Burwood in Sydney.
Nice.
And the studio owners are actually like part of this K-pop crew that won a bunch of K-pop competitions in Sydney.
Right.
Yeah, like crew K-pop.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a whole new thing, like K-pop competitions. Like I feel like that's only existed in like the past 4 to 2 years. Yeah, but they won a bunch of them, and then they just started their own studio, and I'm part of the starting lineup. Yeah, so I've heard from them, but even then, as the number one of the top crews, they barely know anyone else.
Interesting. Because I was on the impression here, yeah, I could be wrong, don't quote me on this, but like the K-pop community here is massive,
Yep.
and there's crazy crossover with the other dance communities.
Really?
I don't know personally, so I didn't mention them in that hierarchical talk when we
Yeah.
shouted out the names of those the community groups.
Yeah.
Just brought the Melbourne scene together. I'm pretty sure K-pop slots in there for like just the more recent times.
Oh, like wasn't like one of the O2 studio owners a K-pop guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when they
I don't know his
did,
name. Yeah.
Jimmy.
Oh, he's a K-pop. No, he's in the pop,
Jimmy,
right?
He's a popper.
Yeah.
But Jimmy who owns O2, I believe he has instructors that just run K-pop.
Yeah, I think it's so important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
In-
part of
yeah.
it's probably part of culture.
Yeah, for one, like as a studio, you need money, and you need classes that bring people, and that's obviously super important. And also, it's a gateway to get them to do the like locking and popping and stuff. Like I know so many people who just started K-pop because it's fun. They want to take class with their friends, and then they see other classes, they take that class, and now they're living and breathing dance. Yeah,
I hear yeah.
like street dance as well. Like it's very removed from K-pop.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very removed. Despite a lot of the street dance references, sprinkled in and around.
Yeah.
Still, recent and new like K-pop like choreography, right? It's pretty crazy. I find the K-pop phenomenon really interesting. Right?
Yeah.
Because like when I was younger, J-pop was still a thing.
I remember that. Yeah, and J-Rock.
And J-Rock.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Either
Yeah.
through anime or.
Yep, the anime openings were all J-Rock, so
Right.
everyone loved J-Rock.
Right.
Yeah.
And then even what was it? Because of the Japanese dances that I was coming across in Sydney,
Mm.
they would update us on like how it is now. Their version, the Japanese TV shows and specials on street dance culture,
Mm.
like the Chinese ones now. And the
Yeah,
Korean
yeah, I
ones.
remember. I've seen like videos of Gogo Brothers and Hilton Bosch on like TV,
Yeah.
like Japanese TV.
Japanese TV.
Yeah, and they're just like killing it, locking in like this really like colorful room. And it's like
Yes.
obviously like really cute and Japanese game show even. It's just Gogo Brothers just in that room. And it was like so whack.
Right.
Yeah, it was so strange. But I remember watching those videos.
Shout outs to Dance Champion. That was the name of the show.
I see.
I remember
Okay,
that.
was that the one I'm talking about? I just
Yes.
saw
Yeah.
randomly YouTube. I didn't know what show it
There
is.
was
Yeah.
only one show.
Oh,
And it only lasted like maybe like 2 seasons.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty hectic. Alright, so tell me this then. As a very proactive member, I assume, yeah.
Okay.
Like, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, someone like who's heavily, it seems, yeah. Because I've seen you twice, and this is the third time now this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Canberra, so in Blacktown.
Yeah.
And then now I'm seeing you here.
Mm.
How does someone like yourself, maybe based on like, you identifying as a gamer, yeah,
Yes.
and then not going to clubs and bars.
Oh yeah, I've thought about this a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then let me just throw in that maybe you don't actively go out and seek, new music or
Yeah.
or like these aren't like prime motivations for you.
Yeah.
Within context of your dance.
Mm.
How is it? Because I've actually met a few characters now, right? A few people. I don't mean characters in a negative way.
Yeah.
Dancers where they are really good at dancing, like proficient levels.
Mm.
At the peak of where they're at in this moment in time. At that moment in time, but like then it's almost like the music is secondary in terms of like their practice.
Yeah.
For me as an older cat, because I can't do my primary practice
Yeah.
as comfortably as I used to, I've resorted to going into digging for music.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really that proactive.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
actually just, bro, what's this music? I've got
Yeah.
a mixtape. Can you burn me a CD back in those days?
Mhm.
Now it's like send me a link.
Yeah.
What's it like for you? Because like your musicality is on point.
Oh, thank you.
Then your
Thank you.
athleticism is on point too. So I can only assume that is a result of macros crash. And is a result of being proactive. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
But like how?
I see. Okay. Okay.
how-
Few different aspects of this question, so I
Yeah.
need to like make it concise.
Yeah.
So gamer, dancing, how is that connection? But also music and my capacity to search new music.
I'm just interested, like in like.
Okay.
I'm interested
Okay.
in you, like,
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna answer just the first two parts of the question, like how do I apply my gaming mentality to dance. As for searching for new music, I don't really think that's a factor for me. I guess which makes sense because I don't search new music, so I don't even think about it. So, yeah, that took a lot of introspection. I think a lot of dancing okay, in general, everyone knows that dancing is, you have to bring yourself to the dance floor, right? You have to bring who you are, your life experiences, and to be able to actualize and be a confident person, you really need to be comfortable with who you are, your ethnicity, your upbringing, your values, your life experiences that define you. You need to bring that all to the dance floor, whether you like it or not. That's what shows, right? And I don't think there are many gamer dancers, or at least professional gamer dancers out there. And I had to like find my own identity. And I'm proud of my professional gaming identity. It's a huge part of who I am, and I milk it like crazy. Like I use my pro game experience to my job resume. It's gotten me like my first internships. It's gotten me a lot of friends at school and uni and whatever, and I'm proud, wear it proudly, and I definitely carry the mentality over to dance. And I think that's how I try game, like musicality and athleticism and battling. I game it, but also like in my own way.
Yeah.
And I'm very rational and logical when it comes to dancing.
Yeah.
I guess everyone is, but
Is gamified like a term?
I guess so.
Yeah. Because I try to gamify.
Yeah.
Like my systems and processes.
I see. Yeah, I definitely super gamify.
Yeah.
I guess like the interesting part of the gamify is like how do I gamify, like my method. And honestly, like that comes mostly from Jun, like one of my teachers, May Jun. He taught me to dance on beat, but in a really like specific way. Not dance to the beat in a specific way, but like to be really precise with your timing. Like timing precision, and also like treating the beat with much more respect. And really like, and I like practice the shit out of that. I don't even think I'm that good at it, like not compared to him or internationals, but I practiced that the best I could as a Sydney dancer. And I did that with Chun actually. Me and Chun both had this challenge when we were both learning from him to like, we just learned like timing stuff, like how to be on beat. And me and Chun were like, okay, we have to have one battle this year where we're on beat. And we were like, every battle, after the battle, we're like, I was off beat, I was off beat. And we did every single battle that year, and we were off beat every single battle. And we were like, fuck, we suck, oh my god, we suck.
Was it really that offbeat?
Yeah, at least the way that we got taught it, we started getting like more harsh with what being on beat is, right? It has to be like quite specific. Like if you're off by a little bit, we're like, that's not good enough.
Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, being on beat was like a huge part of my dancing. And also like training foundation, like I saw it as like a stat. Like you gotta drill it and you increase your stats and your muscle memory, all that sort of stuff, all that good stuff. And like structure, phrasing, like blow up moments, I feel like you could gamify that and you could turn it into a structure or a set in your dancing. And I guess like that's why my dancing's quite consistent. Because I've gamified it in that certain way. And I've just like set up rules for myself and set up my understanding. And that understanding is constantly being challenged by dancers that pop off, that don't fit in like my value system. And it's constantly evolving, but I always like, I have like this way of thinking, and for me it's really logical, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and to bring it back to gaming, like for me all of these skills are like last hitting, or like hitting headshots, or positioning, or timing on the map. Like for me, like being on beat, having foundation, having clean combos, all of that is the same as last hitting or picking the right character in a game, or playing the map efficiently, or farming the jungle or something. Those are all the same skills that that have like dance equivalents, and I treat them all in the exact same way. Yeah, so that's why I'm like really logical with it. And there are a few like cons to this way of thinking. For one, like I don't have much artistry, which is why I like really respect dancers like you, who are so creative, and you just, for me, you operate in a way that doesn't adhere to these rules, and you do something completely different, and it's still dope. And I think that's super amazing. So I'm like trying to add that in, or at least not even add it now, but at least accept that it exists and it's a possible pathway that I can take, is like the first step that I'm working on. But that's how I link the gaming to the dancing. Like there are rules, there are things that are right and there are things that are wrong. And I look for dancers who I think are dope, and then I try to figure out what makes them good, and then like have them, watching them like adjust my value system, my beliefs, I guess. So yeah, that's how I see it. It's very logical. And I think that's why when I talk about dancing, it is like I can be articulate with it, because I think about it a lot and it has to make sense to me. I think dancers that talk in like, not talk, but who are very like emotional and spontaneous, and they're just like, I felt it. And I'm like, oh, you popped off, how the heck did you do that? And they're like, I just felt it. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like I just don't operate in that way. It has to make sense for me. And they're just like, I just felt this thing and I did it, and I've never done that before. I've done that before, but I just tried to change it up in this way because it was fun. I'm like, fuck. That is a whole different way of thinking. Your brain is completely differently wired to mine. And I just can't do that. Or for example, like Shazam, right? Like Azam. I remember he taught one of my friends, her name's Jess, and I was jamming with her, and she was like, what are you thinking about dancing? I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about being on beat, about having clean lines, about structuring my set well, and like starting with groove, like adjusting to the music, and then adding technique in and building technique so it creates more of an emotional high, and maybe I can blow up or go down. Like I'm thinking about all of that and making sure that's interesting, and if it starts getting stale, I'll try to change it up with like a big drastic feeling change to keep things interesting in case I'm not structuring properly. Like I try to patch things up if things go wrong. And then Jess like, oh, cool. And I'm like, what about you? And Jess is like, I was thinking about opera and Chinese tea leaves. And I'm like, oh my God. That is like... And she's like, I'm thinking about the wind. Yeah, and the taste. And I'm like, yeah, opera, Chinese tea leaves. I'm like, holy fuck. I can't, like, that is just... That's why I enjoy jamming with people like Jess. Right? Like, it's just a whole different way of thinking. Like, you can't gamify that. I don't think you can create, like, a value, logical structure to that way of thinking. That is something you really feel, and that's like so artistic and creative. Whereas for me, like on beat, clean, character, foundation, blah blah blah, blah, have tick 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 those boxes. Yeah. Anyway, that's how I've linked the gaming and the dancing.
I love it, man. I want you to continue if you have more to say, because I was just about to chuck in, like, yeah, fucking right, like take ownership of like your gaming background, you know? Like,
yeah, I'm proud of it,
yeah.
But I definitely admit there's heaps of faults to it, and a lot of people don't think, or not don't think, but I can see why people would think it's not like real dancing or it's not free.
Yeah.
But I've just come to terms with it. I think art is subjective and people can do it in any way they want. That means I can do it in my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say, because of tea leaves and Chinese opera, is this is me gamifying, but also like throwing like a glitch in there. Yeah? It's like, well, what about like a cosmetic mod?
Yeah.
On how you would do a thing, you know, like headshots, you know, like positioning, placement. It's like, okay, I'm gonna put a mod on this map, and I'm gonna put a mod on this rifle here, you know. It's like it's no longer the original game.
Yeah.
But you're playing that game in a.
Yep, I'm a purist. I just don't think that way. Like you're so creative like that, right? Like I just took your private and your workshop, and you love. Your favorite thing that I've found and I've observed is we're doing this and we're like, okay, we're following. And then the next thing you say is, what if we did this? Or what if we did that? Or what if we did this? Oh, maybe this happens and now we have to roll with it. And that is like a level of spontaneity and impulsivity and artistry that doesn't exist in my value systems right now. That's why I'm trying to learn from you. Right, it's different. But you're right. What if all those things are real ways of thinking that are totally valid and it's fucking dope when you actualize them when you dance? But that's not in my current gamified way of thinking of dance. Yeah.
No, and I respect that. I really respect that a lot. I'm really selfishly. I run this so I can learn more from other people. And I'm pretty isolated dude at the moment.
I see.
It's just like got a lot going on. Focus. Like, I'm kind of work from home as well.
Yeah.
As a person who's meant to be working with other people, you know,
yeah.
like
okay.
I work at home person. Sometimes I'm just caught up in my own world and I vicariously learn about new things. What I might see you on posting your story or someone, and even then it's quite limited because I really make an effort not to scroll through.
Yeah, me too.
Right, to get stuck there.
Yeah, doom scrolling is bad.
It is. I guess I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about it, but I'm really interested in like then how music is kind of because you move and you react so well to music.
That's a whole different thing, I guess.
I find it mind-boggling because for me, I've had to force myself to dance to music I don't like.
Yeah.
But I keep myself inspired by finding new music and that inspires you dance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah, frankly, I don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we did your private, we did that a lot. And that was amazing. Like to get a window into your mind. But yeah, I just don't ever do that. Yeah, that was, foreign to me.
Right.
Yeah, quite uncomfortable. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So I guess then, I'm answering
Like how-
the question here. It's like, you...
Like how did I learn to adapt to music, I guess?
Yeah.
Like from a gaming logical perspective.
Right, on the precursor of, like, logically and the way that you understand dance. Like, you do
Damn,
this-
that's a great question.
Yeah, you do things that keep you active in the dance, and surely there's music there, or whatever, and then you just apply yourself when you're at the event.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much. Yeah.
and even like the breakdown of how you know,
Like emotional high and
really
intensity and
yeah, because there's a lot of freestyle kind of free-spirited dancers I've met too, but they don't think along those
Yeah, I
lines.
really think like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like at this point in time, if I was to sort of position myself in a spectrum of dancer types, what I'd like to call dancer archetypes.
Like a 16 personality, like an MBTI but for dancers.
Oh, dude, you went there. That's
Yes.
a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like I'm in between somewhere. Because I like to think of like, all I did was a pace up, lock, like, set, yeah? Like freestyle, yeah? Or a little round, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I could be in the moment, in the character. And I've literally done something like this. Maybe because I knew the song, or maybe because I was just like I did that at the stroke of steps. Like I was like, it's my turn. I walked into this elevator, I turned around, pressed the elevator, I waited for the time.
That's so conceptual and artistic,
Yeah, but that's almost similar to like
a logical way of thinking.
Yeah,
it's a different line. I think if in some alternate universe, if I did something like Crump, I would probably be like that. Right? Like introduce concepts, like improv. You know, improv? Like when two people are talking to each other and acting improvisationally. I think that's like that. Right? Your elevator one, you're improvising a scene and there has to be a logical connection and flow. I guess the structure, like the foundation of my logical thing is like rhythm and timing and music. Whereas that is more like performance. Right? You're walking to an elevator, you click the button, you're going up, you're waiting. Someone comes in, oh my god, you're Captain America, and now you're being swarmed by people. I don't know if you've seen that. The elevator scene. Now you're fighting in the elevator. But you beat them, and now you leave, and there's more people coming after you. Now you're running away. Now you pretend to be a soldier, and you kill the soldiers, and now you escape the building. Right? Like there's a logical structure there. And you can definitely dance that. Right? And I think that would be a great logical way of dancing. That's like, that makes sense to me. Like if I were ever to do a dance like that, I would flesh that out and train that and practice that. But that's just not the spec I'm going. Right, like I see the specs. Like one's a healer spec, one's like damage spec. Right now I'm in like rhythm, structure, phrasing spec. And it makes sense. This one's like a performance character, creating, setting, painting a picture set. And I can see that way of thinking. I don't do it. But I think you're like both. Yeah, you have like both combined. Like
I feel like I'm in the middle. That's why I'm really intrigued in your process because, like, again, I've only seen it 3 or 4. I've met you 3 times this year and seen you dance. It's just like, bro, how's this dude doing this? After the fact, he's told me, like you've told me something that like, oh, I didn't think you were that kind of that's your background. That's how you practice.
I see.
That's your dance practice.
Yeah. I think the most interesting part, which I actually don't really know how to answer, but it's a fucking golden question, is how the heck did I learn to adapt to music? Right, like how... Yeah.
Like, are you counting in your head?
As I'm dancing? No.
5, 6,
No,
7,
I'm only thinking of being on beat.
Yeah.
Everything, maybe like the next technique or combo I'm doing. But most of the time, I'm thinking about being on beat. Like or manipulating the beat in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like pacing, like 1, 2, 3, 4, pacing like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like for me, like that's like manipulating the beat. Like same move, but applying different timing. Like one bounces off the beat and flows off of it. Another one like hit and hit. And that's all I'm thinking about. 99% of my dancing is about just how do I show the beat in an interesting way. Or not 99, maybe it's like 50%. The rest is like, when do I feeling change? What feeling change should I do next? What do I think is the music going to do next? Or how am I going to adapt to that? Sometimes the music goes down in energy, but then because you know that there's got to be a change in the intensity or the energy. Like it might be the chorus or a bridge, and you don't know if it's going to go up or down in energy. And I'm thinking, when should I do that? Should I go up or down in energy? But that's about it. That's all I'm thinking about. And the rest of the technique that comes is just like is practiced. Yeah. Like if I'm like I want to increase my energy, then I just hope that the moves come out from practice.
Right.
Yeah. And then if I want to go down in energy, then I just hope the down energy range of technique that I have comes out, and I think that. So all I'm focusing on is decision making in the dancing.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of like do I rotate in the jungle? I don't know if you played League or Dota or Smite. That's like.
I've watched a little bit. But yeah.
What about like Counter Strike or something?
Yeah, I've like vicariously played it. I've watched.
Oh, what are like the esport games that you've played?
Yeah, I haven't really played
any like competitive games.
Like maybe Pokemon Go was the closest.
Okay, Pokemon Go. That's there's like 3 lanes, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a jungle.
Yes.
Right, have you played it?
Yes.
Yes. So like, yeah, like maybe I'm thinking if I rotate to the jungle, like I'm losing this and I'm losing that. Like I won't be able to affect this side of the map, but I can rotate to this side of the map. I'm thinking in a similar way. Like it's very logical.
Yeah.
It's so logical, and there's always pros and cons to each one, and I'm just hoping I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm understanding the strategy within yourself of where you have to kind of like direct.
Yeah, you don't need to think like. Hopefully, you're good at the game that you don't need. Oh, sorry for interrupting.
No.
Yeah. Hopefully, like at high level gameplay, you just need to focus on your decision making, like when to go in, when to not go in, right? When to farm and when to back for your items. I think that's all stuff that happens in Pokemon Go, right?
Yeah. Much, yeah.
Like when to go back and heal, when to like be at full health with your team,
yes.
When to like go in for poke,
yes.
Right? Like, and hopefully, yeah, those are just the decisions. Like if you're a good player, that's what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
And then if you're a bad player, you're focusing on the mechanics. Yes. Like, oh shit, now I have to use my first ability, my second ability, my third ability, and then hopefully I can kill them. But then when you're good, that comes through muscle memory, yes. Right? Like I'm going in now, and then you just naturally do your abilities and your damage perfectly, and then you leave the battle, right? And the only thing you think of is I need to kill now or I need to get out now, and then everything comes out naturally. That's what it's like dancing for me. I'm like, I need to increase my energy now, and then hopefully I just have the technique, right? When you're playing Pokemon Go, it's not like you start when you learn a new character, you start to memorize the combos, but then you start feeling natural, right? You start like knowing when to use abilities and stuff. For me, that's foundation, right? Like you just know. You don't need to think, oh, I need to press my one button on our keyboard, and I need to click enter, I need to click on my mouse. Hopefully you just do it enough times, and you want to do damage, you just click it. Their fingers automatically move when you think it. That's what I'm trying to do. Training is your 4 abilities,
yes.
And then the fun part is the decision making, the mechanics come afterwards. Yeah. Anyway, that's the best way I could explain it.
Mind blowing. Tell me if it's getting annoying, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
Because I'm really probing on this thing now. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
I want to phrase this question like this. So, I know of Dota, I know of Smite, I know of like these. What are those kinds of
League of Legends? They're called MOBAs.
MOBAs.
Multiplayer Online Battle Arena.
Battle arenas.
Yeah.
So, maybe you think about it like this already, but if the music is the map,
Yep.
and you got your starting point, you got the opposition's point, where you get their flag or whatever. You have these jungle areas or whatever.
Yep.
And if the music is like intro, verse, chorus,
Yep.
bridge, chorus,
Yep.
end.
Yep.
If you're privy to dance the whole song
Mm-hmm.
in a battle, what other impulses do you work off besides these mechanics that you have already mentioned?
Okay, I'm gonna change that analogy because I'm gonna be more specific with it because I don't think the music is the map. I think the music is everything that can change in your course of gameplay, right? So when hopefully you're so good at the game that you already know the map back to front, right? You already know their spawns, you already know like their abilities, already know what the enemy can do, you already know what your team can do.
Yeah.
The only thing that can change is what your teammates do and what the enemy does, right? And that's the only things you really have to react to because hopefully you're so good at your abilities, hopefully you're so good at game knowledge in the map that's already like assumed knowledge, and you only have to react to the things that you don't know can happen, right? Like other people or your teammates. And I think that's the music. You're constantly reacting to the music. Your foundation, your groove, your feeling, hopefully you already have that internalized. You don't need to adapt that anymore.
It's like these other live elements.
Yes, you're reacting to the music, and you hopefully have every other aspect so perfectly trained and knowledgeable that you can just purely focus on reacting to the thing that you can't control. Yeah, that's how I approach dancing. If that makes sense. It's the same in games, right? When you're playing Pokemon Go or any shooter game. Did you play any shooter game like Halo?
I played Halo.
Yeah,
I've done with CS. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you know the maps so well. You know the spawns, you know the locations of the grenades and the guns and stuff. You only need to focus on what the enemy can do and where your teammate could be, which affects what the enemy is going to do as well. And what your teammate does is going to affect what you do. You just only focus on that part, and that's the music. All the elements that you can't control are the music. Is the same as the music. Oh wow, I've never explained it like that before. I'm kind of proud of myself.
I'm literally having a fucking another mind blown moment. Noticeably, as we say in Philippines,
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
wow, it's so mind boggling. It's so mind boggling because as you were explaining it, it's almost like, god damn. Like I've seen these crazy last end game kills on CS at big esports tournaments, like the ones at stadiums with crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like this guy throwing something
like
over
cross map
a wall.
nade. Yeah.
And then
Like the perfect setup.
his gun, and then he ran around, grabbed the gun, and headshotted the dude.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Now, if that's the music, right? Then because you already know the map, and you know where everything is, and now you know that or you just anticipate you're reacting to the music.
Yeah.
This must mean that your listening is so attuned.
Hopefully.
It's acute.
That's the end game. That's what I would like to be. Yeah. I guess to add to that, I think maybe it's not 100% music, but it's like 90% music. Maybe 10% is like crowd and the other battler.
Yeah.
You need to adapt to them.
Yeah.
Like if the person you're battling isn't watching you, you can like go up to them and like burn them. Be like, you should watch me.
Yeah.
Or something. Like that's like 10%, maybe 5%. Maybe less, maybe 2% is crowd. 2% crowd, 2% crowd, judges, audience. Sorry, that's the same. And like the person you're battling, and then 98% music. I super value musicality. So that's probably why you think I'm good at adapting to music, because that's the ratio of how much I value things is probably like 98% music and then 2% everything else.
Yo, I love that because like when you put it into numbers like that, and we're trying to objectify two people dancing against each other, which is an art form being pitted against each other, like it's objective, like you said earlier. Right?
Yeah.
Like, objectifying it means putting in these things.
Yeah.
And these numbers I love because I'm not really speaking to any other dancers that are putting it into numbers.
Yeah.
Despite breaking and going into the Olympics, they're gonna have to try to objectify things. And I'm really interested to see what that does.
I see. Yeah, I always think about this stuff in terms of numbers. I always do. Maybe it's on 98 too. I think that's my ideal dancing is 98 too. I'm kind of projecting. I think realistically it depends on the environment. Right. For example, if I feel like, for example, in Canberra, there's a stage. We're dancing on a stage and there's an audience there. And you're on top, you're on an elevated stage and there's an audience who are sitting under. And also like a bunch of those audience members aren't dancers. And judges are always influenced by how the energy of the room. Right? So maybe I'm like 80% music, maybe 20% crowd. Because I know that I can do different things that can appease that crowd. Or if it's like an empty room, maybe it's just like me, my friend who's judging, and another friend who are friendly battling each other. There's no audience. And there's also like, there's not much battle because there's not much stakes there. It's just like a friendly battle thing. Maybe that's like 99% music, 1% environment, right? Because we're so focused internally on just the music. Agreed. Right? So I think the context matters a lot depending on terms of like how you balance those ratios.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, like you mapping it out like that is for an organizer. So let's go a little left field here, right? But my variables are when's the full moon?
When's the what?
When's the full moon?
The full moon?
Yeah, just based on like the myth that when the full moon's out, people go crazy. They manipulate.
How do you create that perfect environment?
Yeah.
It depends on the event that you're trying to shoot for, I guess.
Right, exactly. You know.
Yeah.
So like that's how I think about.
Yeah.
How I used to think about when I should run things.
Yeah.
Calendar wise.
Okay, let's think about Funk Station. What was I thinking Funk Station? Yeah.
Break that down, man.
Yeah. Funk Station was interesting. I think because of the hallway, it was actually quite hard to listen to the music. Not your fault as a DJ, but I just think the whole made the music really echoey, and that makes like the details of the music less apparent, right? So for example, if there's like a nice guitar that's not like the melody, like the salient thing of the song, and you want to dance to that guitar at the funk station, you would probably I was saying this to Chun earlier when he was driving me back to the Airbnb. I was saying how because of it's hard to hear the details in the music, you have to put on an extra show. So I feel like if it was like a studio battle, you can hear the music really, really well, and you could probably like be chill and just play the guitar like small. But then at Funk Station, it's so a huge hall and it's echoey. You have to really be like, I am playing this guitar, because if you do it small, people. Nah, all good.
Yeah.
If you're playing it small, you're worried that people won't be able to hear what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're worried that people won't hear you doing, and there's huge open space. You have to go bigger so people can see it.
Yeah.
But in a studio battle where people are sitting up really close to you, you're battling, and this table is like someone watching you, you can just like do a small one, right? So you'll probably be like, so the ratio would probably be like 70% music, 30% other aspects, because you can't just focus on the music, because you've got to account for the music being muffled, right?
Right. You just took that breakdown, like your understanding of things, to another level within itself.
Thank you. But I feel like you need hard examples.
Yeah.
Right? Not only do you need the numbers, but you need like examples which we've experienced.
Yeah.
Or like Blacktown, I think the music was more intimate, right? It was basically like a studio battle, and I think if you did like more intricate, slow, small movements, you'd be less punished compared to Funk Station.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. You see, like I'm kind of trying to get it out there that I'm not a big fan, and it's the reason why I've created this. Not to shut anyone down. Everyone operates accordingly, in terms of what they want to do. But audition rounds, and single one-rounded prelims to get into a top bracket.
Yeah.
We had to talk about this in the car.
Yeah.
Station. I'm not a big fan because it's kind of like if events are frequent and they're every week. Like that format's cool because and if it's affordable, it's sustainable.
Yes, agreed.
You can go.
But for like judging a dancer in a mature way that's holistic it sucks.
It's hard.
It just incentivizes dancers to be fucking neurotic and feel shit.
Right.
Yeah, and also for them to like take more risks and not like focus on things like basics, because you need to blow off that one time, or else there's no event for 4 months. And you only got a little 30-second window. And if you don't do well in that 30-second window, your next 4 months you're gonna feel like shit until you have your next shot at getting that validation from the judge or from the event or from the community. Right. And it just really promotes neuroticism. I've thought about this a lot, actually, about like the dancer mentality. Like think about any sport, okay? Like I played volleyball. What sports do you play?
I used to muck around with basketball.
Okay, when you play a basketball match, it's like best of 1 or best of 3. You play multiple matches over like a 10-week tournament, right? So you have 10 times to play each week, and also each competitive match is like from 1 to 3 hours, right? Because you have multiple sets. So in terms of total game time on the competitive field, you have 30 hours of things you can really review. Those are 30 hours of time that matters, right? Whereas in dancing, if you win an event, which means you maximize the time of dancing, 30-second prelim, 45-second round, top 16, 45 top 8. If it's a battle of a long time, it's 45 for top 4, and then 45 for finals, right? How many 45s? So 30 plus 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and then 5 minutes. So that's one battle which you win. You maximize your entire battle, and you trained like for years to this. You have 5 minutes of dance time if you win.
5 minutes over over what span of?
Over like months of training. Also the event time is like at least 4 to 8 hours, right? Whereas in a basketball, you could be shit at basketball. You could just start basketball, and you get to play 30 hours of basketball. Now, if you suck at dancing, you get your 30 seconds once every 2 or 3 months, because you never pass prelim. And every time that you train really hard for, when you get that 30 seconds, you gotta shit the bed. You have no experience in dancing in that window, right? That 30-second climate and environment is so different to how you train and jams and drilling that you're just gonna fucking shit the bed in that 30 seconds. And then next 30 seconds, you're gonna shit until you have at least like 1 hour of total prelim dancing time. Then I feel like you can start passing prelim, because you don't shit the bed then. And how many events is that? Like 1 hour of prelim dance time at an event, that's 60 events. You need to be at 60 events first before you can not shit the bed at prelims. Because that's 1 hour of dance time. That's just 1 hour of competitive dance time. Think about a sport, you get 30 hours over 10 weeks if you're shit at the sport. Yeah, so it's fucked. That's why dancers are so neurotic.
Right, and maybe that's why we see these dancers come and go so often.
Oh, it's so punishing, yeah.
Right?
And I feel like, yeah, this is something I talk to with my gamer friends and also my other friends who are into gaming, the lingo. I feel like I trained for I haven't trained for 9 years, but I started dancing 9 years ago. But I say, I've danced 9 years now I can start playing the game. Because now I can pass prelim.
It's too long.
I can start playing the game 9 years into dancing now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's fucking too long.
Yeah, and I'm like, if I quit
It's
now,
too long.
I just got to the fun part where I can pass prelim and not worry about it. Even sometimes I don't pass prelim, but at least I have the security knowing that I can probably pass next time. For those dancers who don't have those 9 years, they just feel shit. It's rough. Yeah, but anyway, now we're going to talk. Now I think that's why events like Popping Nation that we have in Sydney are so important. Because it gives you that sports format, which gives you actual game time in a competitive environment. And you get quoted dance time. It's not based on how good you are, which is how normal bracketed competitions are. Good people get more dance time. It's based on whether you made it in on the team. It's all equal. Everyone gets the same equal amount of time. And you get to farm out your actual battle time. Yeah, and that's so important. It's a whole different skill. You can talk about dancing all these sort of ways, but then once you do it in a battle environment, doing it in a battle environment is a whole different skill. Yeah, and I don't think people talk about that enough. Yeah, and it's so important. As a pro gamer, there are people who are fucking god tier players, and I've been teammates with them who are just absolute guns. They're killing in casuals, they're killing in ranked, they're killing in scrims. They're top tier players, and when you make it onto LAN, LAN is a battle, a real life battle, where you're playing on stage, and there's 1,000 people watching, and there's 20,000 to 80,000 people on Twitch watching, and these god tier players just die. Because that time is the battle time. That's the battle time. They're gods in practice and ranked and everything, but then on the battle time, the pressure gets to them. And that's a whole skill. It's a whole different skill. Yeah. It's not on beat, it's not being on beat, it's not being artistic, it's not being creative. It's how you can execute all of these skills in the competition. Yeah. And that's something, I feel if you want to grow a scene, you have to somehow distribute this precious resource of battle dancing time to the beginners. Or to the people that don't have an opportunity. Anyway, that's just my macro thoughts. If I ever become an organizer in 10 years' time or 5 years' time, that's what I'm going to think about.
No,
yeah.
You're going to become an organizer after this podcast. Because with your permission, and I might have to tell you on this recording, I can tell you afterwards, is that you've just given me, what I could snip out of this with your permission, of course.
Go for it.
How I'm going to sell my system. I have a system. I don't know if you've ever been part of it, right? I'm not actually going to sell my system.
Yeah.
But I'd love for my system to be a bit more implemented, and it just it emulates what cypher culture is. And mind you, extra thought. That's how I've changed my thought process of why dancing in the club was so important. In our session I talked about, it's to go there and have fun and let loose. Unfortunately, clubs don't really operate like that.
Yeah.
You've got to dress a certain way, act a certain way.
Yeah.
It's not for me even. It's I don't want to be part of this. It's vain.
Yeah.
It's vain. I'm here to be myself. Yeah. Right. But that in the club, you get more dance time.
Yeah.
And why ciphers are important. So I made Burn Circuit because it says it in the name. So Circuit is Grand Prix. Circuit is of Tour de France. You get to go from city to city. You get to, and then there's a ranking there. Yeah. And then Burn, in the breaking aspect, not necessarily to throw phallic gestures at each other, even if you don't have one. It's more that you bring your heat and you have multiple times to do that.
Yeah.
So in the overarching,
they get the battle time.
They get the battle time. So think about this. It's especially as a DJ too, and this is why I'm pooling and consolidating all of my practices together. If you're a battle DJ, you have a song that's 8 minutes, and you got a 45-second round. You only use 45 seconds of that 11-minute song.
Yeah, or 1.5 because it's 2 people.
Or 2 people. Yeah. But if it's an audition round,
rough.
Yeah, 45 seconds. Even if it's 20 people all having a turn at the same time with 20 judges, then it's next song. you know, like
Yeah.
clearly there's some lap over if the DJ
Yeah,
wants
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah,
It's a waste of resources.
yeah.
It's like, all right, just give me the lean meat of that one, throw the rest away. It's like, are you serious? There's some fat that people can chew on there.
Yeah, yeah.
We have
Wow,
a homelessness issue.
I never think about music resource being wasted. Yeah, I'm a pure competitor, so I never think about that, but that's so valid.
Right, imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as a DJ, you want to have enough time to create a vibe, so that like you would take the approach of, you know, I'm gonna go like this, cruise up, cruise down,
Yeah.
change here. That's just in one run, yeah.
Mm.
But what if you were talking about a 30 minute to 1 hour set soundscape? How
Wow.
would you, as the dancer, navigate through that 30-minute soundscape?
God, I have no idea.
Right?
I'll have to experience it a bunch of times before I can get an opinion.
Right. You
Yeah.
can imagine yourself in it
Yeah.
already, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's almost this. It's almost like you're in. This is a true story. You're in Japan. You're in this massive dance stadium, and it's breaking, popping, and locking. Freestyle Session Japan is the event.
Yeah.
The event starts at 7 a.m. It ends at midnight.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So there's that many people to get through before the top 32. Right?
That's bloody rough.
And how much does it cost to enter that battle? Yon sen yen, which is 4,000 yen.
So 40 bucks?
40 bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't leave the venue for whatever weird reason. Yeah. This is back in 2005.
Yeah.
You gotta do the audition round. You gotta, you know, like,
That
you
reminds
might
me,
not
yeah.
get your song. You know.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then you lose. And you've travelled all the way.
Or you don't
from
pass
Australia.
prelim, that's
You
the
don't
worst
pass
part.
prelim. And you travel all the way from Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That's the dance and neuroticism.
Right?
That's where you start feeling shit.
Nah.
Yeah.
But now imagine, and this is not to throw anyone under the bus with the events, it's just maybe they haven't realised and experienced these things
Mhm.
as I'm explaining to you. That's why I made the burn circuit. So one, the DJs get a chance to just really dish out good music. You
Mhm.
know, the dancers, it's up to them, which is an old cultural thing where the circle, the cipher in any style,
Yeah.
the jam, the opportunity to improv or showcase your routine is like a rite of passage because of the confidence needed to get in.
Yeah.
And then whatever culture happens in that, it's like, you're back up. Let this guy come in. Or
Yeah.
you have to fight your way into that circle. Yeah. 30-minute heats like that.
Wow. So that's like one dancer just dance for 30 minutes straight?
No, it's
Oh.
everybody there in multiple circles.
I see.
Freely able to move.
So it's like multiple cypher prelims.
pretty much.
That's how I'm imagining it. Okay.
Yeah. But then I think the issue with things here in Melbourne is the younger people feel intimidated by that, and that's why you kind of need.
That's like in city sessions, there's like a time cypher
Yeah,
prelim.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the whole event. There is no top 16, no top 8. You just
Wow.
you just walk away with how many points you got for the.
Wow, that's a whole different format. I need to experience that, or at least watch it to even think about it. Yeah, your explanation is good, painting a picture, but yeah, I really need to see that before I can think about it. Yeah.
I'll say this for the record, I've not been able to express this, but the only reason why, despite making a killer profit, bro, I'm sitting on like good money from this event. You know? Like, it was probably one of the best events that I'd ever run.
Burn circuit.
Burn circuit in March of last year.
Yeah.
Right? But I kind of took it to heart, and it's an ego thing, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of took it
It's good to
heart.
make money off events.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
good business. It
It's
means
good.
you want to run it again.
It makes me.
Yeah.
I should be in that mindset as
Yes.
a good businessman. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm too like passionate about my love for Melbourne and where I want it to go. I can't expect that. What am I?
Well,
You know?
if you make money, that incentivizes you to make the event again, and that means more events in Melbourne. That's the win-win-win-win-win.
So this is why I need to talk to you. But will they give you the figures? Yeah. 10% of that event
Yep.
were Melbourne competitors.
So 90% were interstate or international.
Interstate, international.
Holy shit.
And then 2% of that 10% were B-boys. So the
I see.
other 8% were all-star.
Yeah.
And then, because there was COVID too, yeah?
Yeah. So Burn Circuit was an all-stars battle?
Hey,
Burn Circuit was an all-stars battle.
burn circuit is to break up the energy, the exhaustion
Mm.
factor. 30 minutes breaking, then 30 minutes all-star for for 3 heats. So
Oh, wow.
6
And only
brackets.
2% breaking when the event is literally half breaking, like in terms of the music.
No, the music is, so the DJs get an hour bracket to DJ.
Yeah.
So they get half an hour, whatever the style is.
Yeah.
So if it's breaking, they're just playing breaking music and their interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And then all style is whatever their.
So
flavor
literally
is.
half of the music is breaking up music.
Yeah.
And there's only 2% breakers. Well, wow, that sucks. Breaking is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro.
Those numbers
I mean, look,
suck.
because I don't want to be like that, the gronky old guy.
Yeah. Like you didn't come to my
Why
band.
you didn't come to
Yeah,
my
I made it for you. Yeah.
Exactly, I made it for
Yeah.
you. You know, the ego in me is bucket.
Yeah.
But it's more so. Well, besides the COVID and not being able to run it, the lockdowns. It's also like, well, if they're not gonna come, you know. So, what I was meant to say, right? I'm butthurt clearly for whatever reason.
I don't think that's butthurt. I think
it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's more so. What am I trying to say here? I got confused for a second. The 10%, the all style. It's like the Melburnians that arrived, that came. Maybe they just didn't see the post. Maybe they.
like a marketing issue, PR issue. Yeah.
Marketing issue. Yeah, like I didn't push it long enough.
Yeah.
But the fact that I packed out the venue and more interstate dudes came, it's like I think I've got the reach.
I see.
So there's a weird. I don't know what that is. I've got no idea.
Disconnect. There's a business problem there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I have to assess that, and that's why I've decided not to do it because I want it for Melbourne.
Yeah.
I want it for Melbourne.
I
But
see.
if Melbourne's not receiving it, then it's fine.
Oh, I see.
You know? So if it can be implemented as a prelim for any event that needs it,
Like maybe you won't do the event, but you want to at least, tackle the problem of this, like the dance battle time and distributing it in a more like less polarizing way for like the top dancers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because clearly the top dancers will do well anyway.
Yeah.
But it's about giving these rookies and newcomers
The battle time.
That battle time.
I see.
And that's why I brought it up.
I
because,
see.
What you said, I can use as a pitch, as a prime example, through figures
yeah.
of how much time you get as a pro.
5 minutes.
Or someone to win.
Yeah.
5 minutes in an 8-hour event, good lord.
Yeah.
That's what, like, I'll just dance at home. I'll just train. I'll just train.
That's what my crewmate Ivan says.
Right.
He doesn't like battling. He
Yeah.
just says, I just jam. I like jamming. I can dance 5 minutes in 1 round.
Right. Imagine you're a solo dancer and you don't have a group to dance with.
Oh,
Groups of people to dance with. See, at least when we were younger, we had crews. And then with our crews, we kind of implemented this idea of like emulating battles between each other.
Yeah.
But it was still different from
An actual public battle that has stakes.
with
And you have your crew name on the line and prize money and fame and glory. Yeah.
So, yeah, bro. Like, fuck, you're just mind-blowing to me.
Thank you. I'm surprised that other people haven't talked about this. For me, like, as a gamer, I feel like this is common knowledge.
Right.
Like, when you think about competition, this is what you think about. You think about good players, but you also need them to have experience playing at the comp too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can take, like, that's so normal when you're rostering a team. You could take the talented player who's never had competitive experience, but he has no competitive experience. What if he's great in practice, and then you commit to him for 3-4 months for a season, or like for one split of the year, and he shits the bed on tournament day, right? Like, that's such a normal thing to think about. How, like, I guess, like, I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just surprised that this is a surprising talk. In sports, it's so normal.
Right.
Like, how someone not performing on game day, that's not a new idea. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I'm not surprised, but that's why I keep quiet. Because it's like I've been banging. You know when I conceptualize burn circuit, bro? And that's not to like say like, oh, you're fucking holier than thou kind of guy. Yeah. Since 2010, bro.
Wow.
Because I went to freestyle session in 2005. And I felt sorry for all of these really dope dancers in Japan. In a prelim, like, fuck, this guy's ripping. He's doing like hectic skills. He's on beat, he's fresh, got styles, got character. She's amazing. There's not even blips on the map.
Wow.
They're not even, because like your top tiers are so famous. I'm not down with that, man. Like, I'm here to dance with other people.
Yeah.
You know? the win for me is that I get to battle someone on a higher level, or I get to battle someone on my level, like, and have a proper
good exchange. Oh yeah, that's hard to get proper exchanges. Don't even go start on that. That's hard. Yeah.
Man, I almost feel like you need to come here for a second recording, bro, because you know what? It's like this is an internal thing in my head, and I don't get to have these kind of conversations with other people outside my circle.
I see.
And even within our circle.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Dan is cool. You had Dan cool in your podcast. He thinks about this all the time.
Yeah, no, we spoke about some
because
of these things.
He's got fighting game community, FGC. It's way more similar to dance because it's 1-on-1.
Yes.
Right, like Tekken, Street Fighter, all that sort of stuff.
Right. Those are the games I play.
I see. Yeah,
so
that tournament bracket is so much more similar to dance 1-on-1 dance battles.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought this up because it was crossing my mind.
Yeah, and that's an esport. When I said if you played an esport game, that's definitely an esport.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's just because I haven't mained any character in any of these three that I'm playing. Guilty Gear, Strive, Street Fighter 5.
I see.
Or thing like I'm still like just casually playing.
I see. Yeah.
But what I noticed, because I watch it more than I play it.
Yeah.
Is what is amazing about the FGC is a lot of their tournament lineups is like a traditional tournament tree.
Yeah.
And then all the winners typically go to the finals, but the losers have a loser bracket.
Yes.
And then they battle each other.
That's right.
And then the winner of the loser finals.
That's right. Just in case the winner versus the second best person in the first round.
Ah, is that the reason why?
Yes, because what if you're the second best player, but you're seeded against the best player, and now you're zero money, but in reality you're the second best player, and no one will know that unless there's a losers bracket. Yeah, that's normal in gaming too. Just doesn't exist in dancing. So I think some tournaments. I think I saw one Singapore battle in locking Singapore battle do it, but I don't look at international scenes. But in Australia, at least, you don't ever see losers brackets. Yeah.
I might require your maths expertise here because I'm bad with algebra, right?
So
good. Let's say because in general, from memory, like the recent CEO, right, just in one game, the entire tournament took about 2-3 hours, and then in that 2-3 hours you had the winners bracket and the losers bracket and then the grand final, the final finals, right? I think the rules in general, sometimes with very variance on it, is like you have to win 3 games, first to 3 games, 3 wins, and there's 2 rounds, sometimes up to a minute in each, so that was about 3 hours, let's just say. So if we had a dance event, right? If we had a dance event, because one of the worst things with dance events is anything beyond 3 hours starts to become a chore. And you're like exhausted. But sometimes you need to run it that long because that's what it's worth. In terms of what people pay and for you to at least break even. Right? This is our struggle. So I don't know why it's taken this long to like internally change the system.
I see.
How long do you think it would take, or up to what bracket should we have it starting from? Don't worry about prelims. Let's just say top 32, top 16. What would you need it to be to give them the right amount that you think? Like
I think
2
16.
rounds, top 16.
16. 32 max.
32 max.
Per like popping and breaking. At least in Sydney, where popping and breaking is bigger. But no other scene can do top 32. It should be top 16.
Right. So if you were an organizer then, and then it was like the top 32, right? That's pushing it now, right? Top 32 is the main event. So all the preliminary events where your prelims will happen. What's your take on how that should be run?
Okay, this is where my just gonna say now that this is where my expertise doesn't go because I'm not an event organizer. It's hard. It's hard for me to like put times to it and create an event that's human friendly. But I can think of ways to make things skill friendly, like respect skill, as a person that values skill. But in terms of an audience member or as a dancer, that's to wait a million hours. I don't think about that. Just the skill expression.
That's right.
Because I'm a gamer.
That's an event coordinator's job. Right?
But for skill expression, what can you do for prelims? I think it's really hard. But for one, you need the same judge the whole way, the same judges the whole way. For example, when you have 3 different judges, like in our funk station, for 3 different lines, and you take the top ones, it's so flawed. Each judge, they value something different. You need to have you need to minimize the amount of things that can go other ways. Like what if, Kiki values a dancer and was like, oh, this is the dancer in my line, and then you watch a dancer, you're like, oh, that person definitely doesn't make mass prelim.
Right.
And then that variance is just so unfair for actually caring about skill.
Exactly.
Right? Because then if you judge together, then you'd be then you probably average your scores out and then maybe put it through, maybe not.
Yes.
But that's what's fair. Everyone gets the same treatment. So it has to be the same judge the whole way through. Same judges. So it's fairly treated.
Yeah.
So again, timing is an issue though.
Would you ever do a 1 judge, or there must be a 3?
No, so I've done this once. I talked about this with June, because June organized this. June actually organized a battle based on, I don't know if it's my idea, but I talked about this with him, and he organized a battle that's based on the same thing, rationing battle time for people. So it was called Ignition. And I think that was a really sweet spot that we struck. It's the same as Funk Station, where there's 1 judge for 1 group each, but it's a double round preliminary. So firstly, let's say it's top 16 and 100 dancers enter. Each line out of the 3 will probably take you guys will take the top 10 dancers in each of your lines. And then there'll be a top 30, 10 of you each. And then you take all the 3 judges come together to judge that top 30. And then the top 16 make it into the actual top 16. So that way you weed out, you get through majority of the dancers and you eliminate variance. It's going to be really almost impossible for the top 10 dancers to be in 1 line and in 1 judge thing. It's just statistically really low. Yes. I'm sure we can get an actual risk statistics person to do that. Yeah. But that's probably within 95% confidence, right? That you'll most likely get the top 16 people in that way. A double rounded prelim. First one, you take the top randomized dancers in Funk Station, and you get top 10 of each or top 12 of each, whichever one is mathematically the best. Someone can crunch the numbers. It should be pretty easy. Then you take the top 16 out of all 3. And I think that would be the best way to do it in terms of time and execution. Yeah, double rounded. That's just for prelim bracket. But that doesn't really tackle the issue of the battle time thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but for skill expression, and then also, to be super more anal with it, you can run a losers bracket with that comp too. Just in case the seeding is off. I think the battle should be seeded as well, which means the top dancer should versus the worst dancer in terms of the prelim score. That way the finals has the highest likelihood of being the 2 best dancers. The best dancers in this bracket and then the second best dancers in this bracket, and then it should come together into the finals. Yeah, but that can be hard. But regardless, if there's a losers bracket with the seeding, it's double proofed, you would get good skill expression. I think seeding alone is actually mostly enough. You could randomize the top bracket, the winners bracket, and then do the losers bracket. That would be good too. I think as long as you have one of those, seeding or the losers bracket, you'll get a well-run event where dancers won't be salty. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so cool to be able to speak to somebody that's thinking along those lines.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
It's it's crazy because traditionally, right? It's in the factors of 2, the 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 32, right? And then even in terms of league styles in those big numbers, in those big blocks, it's you have to do 4 of those, and then the 5th event is the main big one.
Yeah. I think Sydney did that with Hip Hop Showdown. So 4 Hip Hop Showdowns, and then there was a Hip Hop Showdown final, and you were accrued points.
Right.
And isn't the Breaking Association doing that now? You have to accrue points over all the breaking events.
I believe so. Yeah. Right. So for me, Burn Circuit is more because of the cultural aspect of it, right? But now I'm starting to think because City Sessions was a cipher prelim as well.
Yeah.
But then there was
rough.
There was issues of who would come in. Sometimes there's 2 people dancing, and mind you, at my Burn Circuit as well. And I took it not the this is fucked up. These people don't know how to cipher. I didn't take it like that. I actually saw an inkling against the artist mind. I saw an inkling of no, we might have a different culture here because I'm seeing 2 all-style dancers. You can't do it in breaking, because formers are
fighting for the floor.
But they were legit, up rock. Both of them were dancing at the same time. time.
Like in whacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it was a pop-up versus like a freestyle.
I've experienced that too, city sessions, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone danced the same as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, no one was taking the initiative, either volunteer or just...
True, that is a whole new thing that has never really existed.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like old popping footage you've seen where a dude's coming in and he's going to put a bit of a burn, like a disrespect on the guy.
Yeah.
Goes around him. Like,
True.
While
Wow.
the other guy's going.
You're
and
right.
then I thought, oh man, this could... I'm about like providing a platform and then I got some rough templates there and it's like, alright, you guys make a culture out of that.
I see.
You know, like already...
Yeah. Yeah.
Some shit like, oh man, that thing I didn't like about Burn Circuit Bro, there's a lot of people spamming the ciphers.
I see.
No shit, that's just like it's piranha mentality, just like
I see.
you know, and it's a young energy thing too.
Yeah.
Get in. Whereas these more seasoned veterans, young or old, they're kind of like sharks,
Yeah.
and then they'll just come out and go, "Argh," and then they'll get maximum points because they're a bit more calm and calculated about they understand themselves better, they understand the energy, you know.
Yeah.
And then people who are just spamming all the time, they're just like they're
Like
first
farming
up-
cypher time.
Yeah, they might be like because mine's based on points out of 5, like a star rating.
Yeah.
Flames. Yeah. So if you come in with a 5 flame rating, 5 flame, or
5 out of 5.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 run, but you're spamming the ciphers and you're constantly doing that, and the judge is seeing you and you're
I see.
repeating yourself. By process of like elimination, you're
That's right, you're lowering your average
You're lowering your
impression.
average.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm all about the spamming ciphers because it's a chance for maturity.
I see.
Where people understand.
But I guess like I don't know, I was thinking about Phil and Chemo at the city sessions. I remember I was in their circle for one of them and I remember like they were really nervous and they only went out once out of I think how long was that? Like 30 minutes something? Was that 30-minute city session time for prelim?
I think so.
Oh yeah, they went out once at the end because they were so nervous. And I feel like that's just rough. I guess like you could say, oh, like they should have the confidence to go out. But like dancing is different. Like I think having allocated time is also really valuable too.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on. So,
Yeah.
So this is where what you've said has made me sort of change the perception of how a burn circuit might need to be run. Because this year's city sessions, there was a lot more hungry younger people
Yeah, and a lot more interstate as well.
interstate.
Yeah.
But what was happening was they kind of had to change it and call the people to come out the cipher. Because
Oh,
it
that's
was
good.
just- It was just a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Right.
I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a good thing because it was happening mid-event.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like
Good adapt.
We
Yeah.
can't keep it the way it started. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's culturally there isn't that learning process of how to do it. There still is.
Yeah.
But it's now kind of like your turn, my turn.
I see like fighting for your time on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Like now it's like more artificial.
It's more artificial.
I see.
But that's alright because like
So it's culture versus skill expression.
Yeah.
Like which one do you value?
right.
Yeah.
But again, can we make the two
Work together.
Yeah? And I think the way is if I had to do 4 of these, right? So I'm just thinking out loud now. I hope you don't mind.
No, go. Yeah.
If you had to do 4 of these, right? 2 of them are specifically just for rookies.
Yeah.
So that they can learn and they can be addressed then and they're quite unique to the situation.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe the first one is just too wild. So halfway through the event, the 3-hour event, MC has to go, guys, whoever gets to the center of the circle first owns the spot. Back up, let them do that.
I see.
Right?
I'm imagining once someone ends like a 3 guys sprinting in.
Right, because it's happened. Yeah, you've seen it.
Oh, just give me my
You've seen it in people's ciphers, yeah.
time.
But then you have 3 or more circles happen.
Yeah.
Right? The alternative is you have, let's say, 32 dancers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put 8 of them per circle, so you just need 4 circles.
Yeah.
If you have the budget, there's 12 judges.
Oh my.
3 in each.
Yeah.
And then at least in half an hour, everyone gets a good run.
I
And
see.
it's a 7 to smoke,
Yeah.
right? And then
Out of the top 32.
yeah, and then you just do it 3 times. Your event's done in 2 hours max.
I see.
Then at least everyone gets the closest thing to a cipher environment.
Yeah.
And maybe the year after you can just do cipher stuff. But anyway, the point being
Yeah.
is two rookie battle, rookie kind of all-togetherness. Yeah, united concerted effort of skill time, right?
Mhm.
And then 2 for more experienced that is open to rookies if they want to experience.
Yeah,
that.
open and then rookie bracket. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's good.
Then you end it with like the proper tournament format.
I see.
Like a main event.
Yeah.
And then because everyone's now known about the ciphers, there's an allotted cipher space, and if people want to dance while the battles are going on.
Oh wow, that sounds way too good. Yeah, that sounds great.
You know.
Yeah,
And
if
so-
all the judges are from like the same crew or something to like minimize the variance in judging, that would be perfect.
Right.
Yeah, because you don't want to have like one judge who really cares about something different and another judge who cares about something really different, and then yeah, like what I was saying earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's exactly it. So, bro, I think we should cap it at that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
What is the time now?
Yeah, you better check the time.
8:50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have smashed out a 2 hour plus.
Holy crap.
Bro. Yeah, because like, bro, this,
Huh.
you took it to the next level, man. And I would love to have you back, man, if you ever back in town, bro.
Oh, thank you. I think that's pretty much everything I have. That's interesting.
Yeah, bro, there's more things so interesting, and this camera's died, so look, you've got a frozen part there.
I
But
see.
I think that was just recently. Man.
Okay.
Well, bro, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much. That was great.
Yo.
Now we talked for like I got here like 3 basically.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
From 3, let's like 6 hours.
6 hours.
Holy schmoly.
Bro, do you want to shout out like anybody or like your handles or anything? Like I don't know when this is gonna be released, you know, but like,
No,
if
no,
it's
I'm
gonna be
good.
released,
I'm good. Shout out to you.
yeah,
Yeah,
cheers.
shout out to you, seriously.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
cheers to you, man. Thank you so much, man.
And I guess like Cheok and Sion Caroline for like bringing me down here in the first place.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, shout outs to Funk Station,
Yeah,
man.
that's right. Funk Station Melb. Ha!
Yeah. I have blockings back, bro.
Yeah, me too.